Kia ora everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today we're carrying on with my complete collection tour, which is a video series I do every year where I go through my entire colouring book collection and I show you every page that I have ever coloured plus any work in progress pages I may have. So this is what is technically my Creative Haven collection. However, apart from one book, these are all Teresa Goodridge. So it's pretty much my Teresa Goodridge collection with one bonus Creative Haven book. Yeah, I really love Teresa Goodridge's colouring books, as you might be able to tell by the pile of books I have here. So we will do the one non-Teresa Goodridge book and then we'll do all the rest of them. So this is, I don't know what video this is in the series at this point. There's been quite a few of them. There's probably still a couple more to go. But there is a playlist that I will link down below where I will show the previous versions of this tour. I do this every year. I've done this in 2023 and 2024, now in 2025. So if you want to see how the collection has changed over the years and how I've progressed in my colouring over the years, be sure to check the playlist down below. That will also have all the previous parts of this video series so that you can check out all the other parts of my collection. But yes, this one is Witchcraft colouring book by Jessica Mazurkiewicz. Probably pronouncing that wrong. So yeah, as I said, this is my one Creative Haven that isn't Teresa Goodridge. I'll be honest, I am in two minds about unhauling this one. It is very cute and it does have some really gorgeous illustrations, but it also, like, I love that one there. I think that one's going to be fabulous to colour. That one there, not so much. That one I can see colouring. That one, not so much. So it's a bit of a mix of things I would and things I wouldn't colour. So I'm in two minds. We'll see how we go. But I have done a page in here, which is just this one here. It was pretty simple colouring. It's just water-based markers and some metallic gel pens. I just needed some simple colouring one night, and this was a perfect page to do that on. So yeah, it is also the little illustration here. So in theory, I have it again if I wanted to do another variation of it. But yeah, it's still not 100% sure about this one. I've left it for now, but may not be in next year's tour. We'll see. But now for the books that I won't be unhauling, the Teresa Goodridge ones. So we'll start with It's a Cat's World, because this was my first Teresa Goodridge colouring book. I brought this on impulse because I saw it was about cats. I didn't really know a lot about Teresa's work or how many books she had. It's like, okay. And then I got it and I was like, oh wow, I really like her work. And then I just kind of went nuts buying a bunch of books. A lot of these you'll find flip throughs on the channel for, because I got them all in at like the end of 2023. I just bought so many of them because I just deep dived into her collection. So I'll start from the back. I've done this one here. This one uses alcohol markers as a base and then Prismacolor pencils and Posca on top. I do regret some of my color choices. I wish I had planned my colors out a bit better, because some of these colors are very like, it's so neutral, and then there's these odd pops of colors, but also I feel like that's kind of reflective of a kitchen. Like, I don't know anyone with a matchy kitchen where everything coordinates. Like, most people I know try to coordinate, but then there's so much other stuff that comes in that it just doesn't coordinate at all. So it's like they tried to obviously go for a teal kitchen, but then like the teals are different, and then they've got a red KitchenAid and, you know, like yellow and blue cups, and then this orange jug, and it's like, it kind of just relates to the chaos, I think, of most people's kitchens. I don't know about y'all, but I also prefer function over aesthetics. I like a kitchen that works than a kitchen that's pretty. So yeah, I don't mind it. It is pretty when it does all coordinate though, prettily in a picture. And then I have this picture here. So this one uses alcohol markers. No, it uses water-based pencils to base, and then polychromos pencils on top to shade. And then specifically for in here from the television, I also used a lot of white water soluble pencil. I believe it was the Kohinoor Mondelez pencils to try and lighten the line so it would look less prominent than the areas in front. There's also a little bit of stickles for on the cat collars here, and a bit of Posca for highlighting. Then I have this one here. This one is just polychromos pencils. It's not often that I just work in the pencils, but I did here. And I remember I had coloured everything except for the cats. And this was the first page I did in here. And I was like, I put a poll up on Instagram because I was like, I'm leaning towards black, but I'll put some other options out there. And ginger won. And I don't mind the ginger. It does tie in with the colour scheme that's there. Like the ginger kitties are very cute. However, I do regret not going for the original black cats that I was thinking of because the ginger gets lost a little bit with all the browns. So I think the black would have popped that little bit more. But I do love the ginger kitties as well. It's still a very sweet page. When I first got this book, I did contemplate colouring every cat in here black. I have not done that, but it was something I was contemplating. I do like black cats. Speaking of a black kitty, we have one here on this page here. So this one uses, did I use alcohol markers to base? No, I didn't again. I wonder if I used Inktense or anything. I feel like there's something basing here. Maybe not, because that deck doesn't look like it's got an underbit layer either. Maybe I just went in with polychromos pencils. I know in this one I used a lot of Posca and I was really focusing on trying to cover up lines on anywhere there would have been a highlighted side. So like here, this side's a bit more in shadow, so I left the black line of this bench, but here it's in highlight, so I added the white Posca highlight. So I was doing a lot of that and playing around with the lines, and I really like how this one came together. This one here, I love how this one came together. This one is super, super cute. So in this one, I definitely used Mondelez water soluble pencils on that background, and I'm guessing I based most of this in those pencils. However, for the pillows themselves and this big red pillow at the back, I actually used washi tape. So this was originally quilted, this blanket, but I quilted the pillows as well. And then I pulled out a bunch of different tapes and patterns that I felt like coordinated, and then cut out pieces to the size of both the blanket down here and then up here. And then I used a gold Posca pen just to go around the edges so it looked like it was a little bit more defined, and it just sort of covered up any sort of micromillimeter areas I might have missed. And I did use a pencil on top to try and shade a little bit. I now know that it's actually better to do really dark shading underneath because, of course, washi tape has a bit of iridescence to it. Not iridescence, transparency to it. So you can see the shading for it, which is how I actually did the stripes on this pillowcase. I drew those lines in first and then placed the tape on top. And so that's how we got the stripe pattern on the red pillow. And yeah, I really like how this one came together. And then it's polychromos pencils for shading, a little bit of stickles on the side here, and obviously the gold Posca as well as some white Posca for highlights. And yeah, I really love that duvet spread. And then I think there's one more in here. It is. It's this one here. So this one is loose in the book and is actually a photocopy, because the original my mum actually has framed out in the lounge. And so this one, when I coloured it as if it was based on Shadow, following Shadow's colour pattern, so making him a black cat. And then because he has a little white underbelly, I did the ribbon white because you wouldn't actually see his markings with the kitty in this pose. And then on the original, I also stickled it, but I put stickles back on the photocopy so it would match the glitter. And then for all the items around, I use polychromos to shade, and there's some more washi tape for this tablecloth as well. And then Posca paint pens to highlight. And yeah, I really loved how this came together, and Mum obviously loved it too because she asked for the actual original, and I was like, I normally wouldn't rip a page out of a book, however Creative Haven books are perforated, so it was very easy to remove, and I said I would, but I wanted to get a photocopy first to keep in the book to represent that page. So yeah, that's why this one lives in here. So it's not something I'd normally do, but I did in this case because it was my mum, and she also brought me a bunch of coloured pencils and stuff like that because she's lovely like that. So that is Creative Haven. It's a cat's world. And then these are not in any particular order. These are just in a random order. So whatever turns up is what turns up. So next we have Garden Gnomes. I think I've just done the one page in here. I have just done the cover page, which is what I did when the book arrived in. So I should probably do another one in here. But I know on the night that I coloured this, it was a bad paint night. And I literally just took my box of Crayola Super Tips to bed and just sat there and coloured the page entirely with Super Tips. And yeah, it was really fun to colour and really bright, really happy, and really perfect for a bad paint night. I feel like this book just suits bright, happy colours. So yeah, should do another one in here actually. I feel like there's probably some good summary pages in there. Right, we have Autumn Charm. The only one in here. It is just this one here. So I know this one uses a bunch of Inktense and then polychromos pencils to add in some more colour, and of course Posca. No stickles, surprisingly. I have a feeling this is another bed one. Like, I know I wasn't feeling well around this time. I just really wanted to colour in bed. And I remember doing this one in bed because I had to get up to get the Posca. And I was like, oh, why didn't I think to bring a Posca? But yeah, I had a lot of fun like playing with the different colour reflects in the water and how things would reflect. Just playing with that sort of autumnal feeling palette. I really enjoyed. So that is Autumn Charm. Then I have a Village Charm. I think also only has the one in here. No, it has two. That's right. I did a second one in here. Alright, so I have this one here. This is actually one I did for my birthday in 2024. Because this scene here reminded me of sort of like something related to a birthday tradition of going away to a holiday home on an island that my aunt had, a little island called Waiheke Island. I absolutely loved it, and like swimming in the sea, and we never had a dog, but it doesn't look identical, but it just gave me the vibes in that memory. So yeah, I coloured it remembering sort of the yellow and teals of that place and the beautiful sparkling sea, which is why it's also covered in stickles, and absolutely love it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to colour that one. I think, yeah, it's not alcohol markers, so we based in Inktense, and then polychromos pencils for shading, Posca paint pens, and stickles glitter glue. Regular combo. Then I know that there's one other I've done in here. Yeah, this one here. I love how this one turned out. This one was quite an interesting challenge because I set myself a very limited colour palette. So there was a pink, a peach, a ivory cream, a mossy green, a grey, a brown, and a black. So there was a few pencils, but not a lot of colours, and it was just really trying to play with that quite limited palette. And I really like how it came together, like the pink for the sky and the lamps and the windows and stuff like that. Like, it just works. And there is a little bit of Posca for the gold on the sign here, and then these signs were originally white with black writing, and I changed that to black with the white writing. So little bits of Posca, but yeah, really love how this one came together. Gives that really vintagey old English countryside look. So that is Village Charm. Now we have Autumn Harvest. Yep, just this one here. A lot of these only have the one page done in them. But I have this very autumnal page, which I believe I coloured in October, somewhere around October, even though it's not autumn here in New Zealand in October, because of course I see all the Halloween and fall colouring in October because of the opposite hemisphere. It makes me want to colour very full autumnal palettes, even though it's not the season here, it's spring. So yes, this one is done in water-based markers. And a little bit of Posca, of course, for highlighting and different bits and pieces, but primarily just various water-based markers. And then keeping in the autumnal theme, we have Autumn Scenes. And I have this Halloween page here. This one is also done in water-based markers. And I really wanted to play with non-traditional colours. So doing a Halloween page, but in purple, pink, and blue. So not very traditional colours, but I really like how it came together. I just should have coloured the cat black. Only regret, that should be a black cat. You know it should be a black cat. And I think that's the only one I've done in here. It is Autumn Scenes. It's quite an old one from memory. Then we have Country Kitchen Charm. Once again, I think I've just done the one in here. Yes. Yep, just the one. Now this one I know is a colour along series on the channel, where I show colouring with water-based markers and some of the techniques that I use to colour in a page with just water-based markers, like super tips. I literally have all my markers in a bucket and they're rubber banded together by colour groups, and that's how I keep all my markers together. So it's a real assortment of various colour tones, and I just pull out whatever family of colours I need. And yeah, I really love how this one came together. So bright and so colourful, and yeah. So water-based markers, a little bit of Posca for some like light reflex and some highlights, but primarily water-based markers. I think there's actually some fine liner too that I might have used like on the wood. Quite often use fine liners on wood. So yeah, Country Kitchen Charm. Then we have Wish You Were Here. And I have this page here. And so for this one, I know I started with alcohol markers. I did. And then polychromos pencils for shading. And there is a bunch of Posca for highlighting. There's also some Reeves iridescent medium on the water. So it's got like that sort of pearlescent finish. This one is another one that would really benefit from being framed up properly, with having this sort of blocked off, especially with all the scribbles in the border, which is something I do sometimes if I need to test things while I'm colouring, is I'll just quickly scribble in the frame. Knowing eventually I'll black those out, but yeah, I haven't done it yet. But it's something that it just sets off a page so much when you frame them up, I reckon. I have romantic country scenes, and I have this one here, and you can see what I mean about the black border there. It just frames this up so much more cleaner. And this page here I absolutely love. I had so much fun colouring this one. So it uses Inktense as a base. I don't think there's any alcohol marker. No, it's just all Inktense. Then a mixture of polychromos and Pablo pencils and lots of paint pens to do all the highlights. And this one I actually did for a little competition thing where it was like warm and cozy, where you had to colour something of Teresa Goodridge's work, where they were all warm and cozy together, so featuring something like a cup of tea or a fireplace. I thought this would be a really fun contrast because you have like the warm and cozy house and then being warm and cozy here, but they're outside obviously in the cold nighttime. So yeah, and I added in a little bit of an aurora borealis up here because I was like, if they live here, why are they camping out here? It's like, well, there must be something going on in the night sky, so added that in. So yeah, really love how this one came together. That is romantic country scenes. Country farm scenes. And I have this taste of the country page. Once again, all done in water-based markers. There's not even any Posca paint pens on this one. It is all marker. It really is just such a go-to for me. Grab a Teresa Goodridge colouring book, grab my water-based markers, crawl into bed and just colour. Like, it just works really well for me. The paper's fantastic for it. And yeah, I just have a good time sitting there and just colouring in with the water-based markers. And I feel like her work just suits it really, really well. So that is Country Farm Scenes. And then I have Afternoon Tea. Now this was a gifted book for me from the wonderful Amira for my birthday and Christmas, which is so, so kind. Thank you so much, Amira. I love it. And I have done a page in here because I had to jump in as soon as I got this in December and do this page here. So this has been based with alcohol markers, and then I used Pablo colored pencils to shade all the details and lots of Posca paint pen, Mod Podge Extreme glitter for all the sparkly bits. And I really wanted to colour this one as if it was based on me. So I did like I have a blue dress that's like this. I never did the pattern on there though, which I should have done. It's got like it's blue with a floral pattern, but it has these puffy sleeves and gathered at the waist. Obviously, when I have my blue hair, which is so overdue for a dye, I have this straw hat. I have a blanket that looks like this. This is like my bike that does include the basket. Like, I was doing this as if it was me, and that is, you know, one of my favorite cakes is a good strawberry sponge with fresh cream. So good. Even have a tea set that looks like this. So yeah, it's taken lots of inspiration from what I actually own and using that as the colorway and just pretending, because sometimes it's fun to pretend, you know. But yeah, it's a gorgeous book. Definitely want to get a few more done in here, just like all my Teresa Goodridge books. And then the last 3 Teresa Goodridge books I have are my free Christmas ones. So I have Enchanted Christmas, Christmas Charm, and Home for the Holidays. And despite all the books that I've just shown you, this is not all of Teresa Goodridge's books. There are still a few more, and I definitely would like to get all of them. I feel like Teresa is someone I would like the complete collection of, because I do adore her work. So I still have a few more to get to complete the collection. But Home for the Holidays. And I have just this one. I thought there was 2 in this one. Nope, just the 1 in this one. I have this one here. Now I know this one is another video series on the channel where I show how I do this rainbow snow technique to create snow that's full of colour. So this one uses water-soluble pencils and then gouache and paint pens to create this sort of lineless look. There's a bit of stickles for all the snowflakes as well. Yeah, still absolutely love it. I love how the snow, like your brain reads this as white, but there's very little white in the snow. There's a lot of colour in that actual snow because it's fun to add colour. So yeah, really love how that one came together. Home for the Holidays. And we have Christmas Charm. I sadly didn't get to a single one of these in Christmas 2024. So we have this kitty here. This is, again, the water-based pencils, the Kolalor Mondeluz water-based pencils with gouache on top. And I think these a silver Posca paint pen and maybe a gold Posca paint pen to do some little details on the page too. I love that kitty. And then we have this one here. So once again, this was the first one where I did the rainbow snow, and I had so many questions about how I did it that I actually created the series. So once again, Mondeluz water-soluble pencils and gouache to do all the outlining and a little bit of stickles for all the snow. And then the final one I have is Enchanted Christmas. And I think it's just the one. It is. We have Glamta. Glitter Santa. As soon as I saw this page in this book, I knew I had to colour it straight away because these not often you see tropical representations of Santa, and of course Christmas in the Southern Hemisphere is in summer, so I love any summer Santa pages for colouring in December. So this one uses again the Mondeluz water-soluble pencils to base, polychromos to shade, lots of Posca metallic glitter and gel pens, which are all over the presents, and then stickles, which is a frame, these butterflies, and Santa's complete outfit, because you know Santa wouldn't wear a wool suit down here in the south, so instead we did a shimmery, glittery, fabulous outfit. So that's why we call him Glanta, because he's glittery Santa. Yeah, I do really like this one. This one was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun chucking all those colours in the water too, and just doing a bright tropical page. I really love how this one came together. And that is the last one that has been coloured. So despite having quite the collection of Teresa Goodridge books, just a few, and like I said, it's technically my creative haven, but the majority of them, bar one, are Teresa Goodridge. Despite having so many of these books, I've only really done one in each of these books. So I'm looking forward to going back and showing love to more pages in all of these books. Obviously, except for A Cat's World, I've done a lot in that because I love A Cat's World. And yeah, I really can't wait to get more into here and show some love to these gorgeous books because I adore them. But thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you've enjoyed. What is your favourite Teresa Goodridge colouring book? Or is there another Creative Haven colouring book series that I should look at getting into? Should I expand my Creative Haven horizons? Is there a Teresa Goodridge colouring book that you think I need to add to my collection desperately? Because I probably do. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all the araha to you all. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye.